Limelight was re-released, and this was a film that interested me very much. I received a card in the post, signed Charlie Chaplin, which I thought, well, there's something happening. They know I like Charlie Chaplin, so someone's having a gag with me. And below it was written, "We loved your review of Limelight." And then okay, so the postmark is Beret, so, well, maybe it's real, maybe it's not just somebody's code. I was very surprised to get a call from Miss Ford, a dragon lady who was their secretary and bodyguard. Although they were scared of her as well. She was such a dragon lady, she was wonderful. And she called me and said, this evening we're having after the investiture, we're having a little party at the Savoy to celebrate it, and we wondered if you'd like to come. It's only nothing special. It's just a little family thing. But if you'd like to come, I said, yes. I said, yes, I would like to come. Thank you very much. I'll be there. And I was there, and it was very much a family occasion, and there he was. But by this time, he was certainly declining in health, and one could see the mind was going okay, but he found it difficult to communicate. He was not very communicative. He would just sit there quietly, and if you spoke to him, he would, not respond or not seem to really hear what you said. And the family knew this, and so they didn't bother him. They left him sitting on a sofa, and I sat beside him. So for most of the party, we were sitting together. His eyes never left a little boy, and I never discovered whose child he was. It must have been one of the grandchildren, I suppose. But he was a little boy with very, very curly, very bright red hair. And Charlie was fascinated by him. And then the little boy came over and stood in front of him. And Charlie reached out his fingers and fingered the hair like that. And the little boy ran away again. And again, Charlie's eyes followed him. And then, having been so uncommunicative, he took my arm and said, "You see, they always gravitate to the mother." And again, at some point during the party, there was a call from 10 Downing Street, and the Prime Minister asked if he might come over to offer his congratulations. He'd actually organised the whole thing. It was Harold Wilson, who admired him very much. And Harold Wilson and Marcia Williams came into the room, and suddenly the old Charlie was absolutely renewed. He stood up, a bright smile, went forward with his hand, shook the hand, and it was an amazing transformation. And then Wilson turned to somebody else, and Charlie was left there and just absolutely subsided again and had to be taken back to his chair. It was obviously it was very sad to see his decline, and Una was defied it and wouldn't let anyone acknowledge that he was not what he was. But it was mysterious, because somehow that person was inside there. And then I saw him one more time, because again Miss Ford rang me and said, "We wondered if you'd like to come, because on Saturday afternoon he's going to be at Anvil Studios supervising the recording of the music that he has composed for A Woman of Paris." We went there. Obviously, he was not he was not contributing everything, but he was watching with some interest. And Una and Miss Ford were there, but they were very nice. They went off and left us alone, just the two of us, which was surreal. And again, he was absolutely uncommunicative. But again, could just spark into something. I would try to talk, but there was no response. And then I said, "Did it take very long to write the music for this?" And suddenly, it was the old vivacity in a way. He said, "Not long, inspiration mostly." That's all he said, except that at one point his I don't now know which daughter it was, but one of the daughters, a youngish one, came into the room briefly and said hello to him, and he said, "Oh, may I present my daughter?" Very sprightly. And then we sat some more, and the orchestra broke, and we were looking through the window at the orchestra, and two of the musicians, or two or three, I don't know, pretended to fight, and this he found very disturbing and frightening, and said, "I want to go home, I want to go home." So I got Una and Miss Ford, and they took him home.